Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Time with Rella podcast. I am your host, Cindy. Now, a lot of growth has happened in the last few weeks. I know I have just been publishing old episodes with guests. I'm really sorry about the poor audio quality. See, that is something that I am working on because episodes with guests, it gets interrupted with network issues. Ugh. Anyway, we're resolving that. But the most important thing right now is yes, the wellness picnic was postponed. Yeah, the real reason is because we couldn't meet our ticket goals. Yeah, but I'm like, okay, should we do this next year? But my intention was actually to do like an event this year. So I'm still doing it. My friend was like, I should just push it back. Yeah, and the thing was, I was trying to do this before the election in Ghana because I didn't want to mix up with that energy, but we're doing it after. So we're pushing it a little bit back, and it has transitioned from a wellness picnic to a dinner with friends. Now, dinner with friends is something I already started with my friends. Yeah. Personally, I used to make the meals. Sadly, for this event, I won't be making the meals. You won't be tasting my food. Rather, I'll be going to a nice restaurant. Yeah, a nice environment for us to sit down and have a good time, talk to people, good food, music, drinks. Yeah. So I look forward to that dinner with you. Is on the 28th of December. It's in Accra. So the location is just given to people that RSVP. Yeah. So look forward to that. But I am going to be sharing some of the few things I've learned, and I really wanted to talk about beliefs in this episode. So stay tuned. Let's dive into maybe how our beliefs may be influencing our lives, the things we do, the choices we make. Anyway, stay tuned. So friends, for a long time, my beliefs about myself was influencing how I navigated life. Let me put it that way. And this is something that we are not aware of until we are aware of them, if that makes sense. So maybe I'll start with, where do our beliefs come from? Now, this is not something that we are known to ask ourselves just like that. It's mostly maybe when something happens, when life happens to us, we start to question certain things. I think these are moments where we are awakening or waking up to our reality, that we start to question certain things. But I will even say this is as a result of our environment. Yeah, I say this a lot about how we are conditioned to be a certain way. We're conditioned not to ask questions, just take what is given to us. So we're not taught how to think. We're taught what to think, what to believe. Yeah. And those beliefs are put in a position where they are not challenged, even beliefs about ourselves. So I'll say that our beliefs come from our environment, our parents, the people around us. Yeah, and we learn them not just by them telling us, it's by us studying our environment, by us experiencing our environment. Yeah. So that's why they tell a lot of people are like, oh, this is what I believe and this is truth. But not really. It's true to you, it's true to your environment, but it might be different for somebody else's environment. This is why Time with Rella is rooted in a place that it's for us to question certain things, to be adults, understanding what becoming an adult feels like. Adulting, yeah, is a wellness podcast, but mostly centered around adulting. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does make sense to you. So our beliefs come from my environment. And for me, for a long time, there were so many things I did not agree with. But when you're surrounded with people that believe the same way, maybe with the number of people around you that believe certain things, it starts to feel like that's true. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. But not really. I think it took me, like I keep saying it took me going through that stage of depression, that stage of allowing a part of me die. And when I mean die, I don't mean physical death. I mean, like, when your personality, your reality is no more matching the things you were taught and told. Then for me, that was a cue for me to let them go. So beliefs are I come from, that's what I'll say. I come from my environment. For a long time, I believed that I wasn't supposed to be doing certain things, or my life is supposed to go a certain way, but that led me to depression. So it might be different for everybody. But now what will lead you to start questioning certain things is when you meet other people with certain beliefs. This is why I'm grateful that I was able to travel or leave my environment. It reminded me when I was talking to my friend Sammy. We were talking the other day on the phone, and he was like, "Do you know how much you changed?" And I said, "Yes, I know." I'm even shocked. I'm even shocked because I used to be somebody that like, this is what I believe, this is true, blah blah blah. But now I'm like, you know what? uh, even with anything I believe right now, I'm open to challenging it and questioning it, especially when it doesn't feel right for me. Like I saw a lot of that when I was growing up. Certain things like gender roles, conditioning, or girls are supposed to do this, girls are not supposed to do that. Remember when I said I wanted to be a governor in primary school? They were telling me that's a man's job. Really? So you see, like depending on your environment, certain things may seem true to you, but it might not be true to another person. So understanding what you believe and where they come from, I think that's the first step to really finding authenticity in yourself. Yeah. And one thing, even when it comes to religion, and I know that's a touchy subject that people don't like to lean into, do you believe it because you understand it and you're truly okay with it, or is because your parents believed it and you think it's true because they say it's true? So, like I said, our culture is not set up in a way to allow for individuating, to allow for you becoming your own person, to allow for you to, reflect that is this what I really subscribe to. And I know I mentioned gender roles. There's a lot of people that are okay with that, and that's okay. I don't even question their choices. But what you would not tell me is you will tell me that I have to go in that line because you are going that way. That's not possible. So I'm just saying, that's an example I'm using. Certain things. And one thing that I like to focus on is self improvement, and beliefs play a huge role in that. Even when you're building a business, like I'm doing a podcast now, I also have an IT business. Even whatever it is, even with work, a lot of things you picked up when you were growing up, because they say that it's at 7 that we learn from our environment from 1 to 7. We're just trying to be like, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We're learning to live because we live amongst them. We're learning the way they do things. And I think the part of adulting, even Mark Mason talks about it in Everything is Fucked, his second book, is about you choosing your own path, choosing, being able to, like, I believe this and this is why. Yeah. um and it's also about values. When I think about values, I think about Everything is Fucked, because I think for a long time I wasn't very much, my values are not in my awareness. I had to be like, okay, I read this and I learned that, wow. So me choosing to sit down in this podcast and talk here is because I'm valuing this. I value this. This is something that means something to me. So each time I'm choosing to do something opposite, it means I'm choosing to value that instead. Or each time I'm spending my money on alcohol or things I don't like, I'm choosing that I value certain things. So that's why I appreciate when we take time to self-reflect, yeah, and go back to the beginning. I say the beginning is like our origin story of, you know what, this is where all this comes from. Do I really agree with it? when you read the psychology of selling, like I have done, there are some practices that he shared that I still do. And for me, this is why I use affirmations. I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people talk down on affirmations. And I also know that there are some nuances when it comes to using affirmations. But that's the whole point of it. Even when it comes to building confidence, your beliefs matter. You can't fake your way. I don't know. I'm going to say that I don't believe in faking my way into anything. I am more confident talking about my podcast now because I have done a lot of inner work. I am more confident about myself when I'm talking to people because I have done a lot of inner work, and that inner work means belief, understanding, be more aware, like looking, being the observer of the things that I am believing. Do you get? And do you notice that I'm actually very used to saying, "Do you get? Do you get?" Even when I'm having conversations with people. So, as I was saying, like doing the inner work, building my self confidence again, had I had to go back to what is it about myself that I believe? Because even the feeling of not being enough, we are believing that we are not enough. Like, and so many things, like even when it comes to business, this is why sometimes I'm a little bit protective about my ideas. I don't share with everybody because I know people carry their own beliefs. And looking at the environment, this is a video I even made like today. Looking at the environment I come from, people tend to project their fears and limiting beliefs onto you. So, I mean, you can be strong willed, yeah, you can hold your beliefs, oh, I can do this, but don't forget the effects of planting a seed into people. Yeah, people who can plant seeds with their words, yeah, self limiting seeds, and that would kind of like sometimes influence we how we are navigating life. So your beliefs, I think that if you're a creator like me, if you're trying to grow a business, yeah, everything you have to do has to do with the subconscious belief you're carrying. And that's something that when I said in the last few weeks I have faced. And for me it's like this feeling of being one leg in, one leg out. I know that this is something I want, but I think for a while I have carried this subconscious belief that can I really do this? And I understood one thing, that to do things, your heart needs to be 100% on it. And this time, this past few weeks, has given me the confidence I needed. You know what? I want this. I really want this life. And I realized that I kept complaining at some time. And you see, that's the other side, or the energy that can create resistance when you're trying to build something. And this is something that I wrote about, that I learned from Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. He's one of my favorite authors because I love how he writes his book. He says fuck a lot. Anyway, so this is something I mentioned in that book, that I understood from that book. It's like problems don't disappear, we just get better problems. Whatever it is you're trying to do, it's like value. Like if you're choosing to value this, you're choosing whatever problems that come with that. I am choosing to be an entrepreneur and grow a business. I am choosing the problems that are going to come with being an entrepreneur. And you complaining, that energy, I don't want this, I do it, like that is creating the friction for what you're trying to create. And I think I knew this for a long time, but I didn't understand it. And going through this time, this period had given me more understanding, more explanation, more more understanding on what I was doing, how that complaining of I want to create podcast, but I really don't like the stress that comes with we edited. That's a lie. Actually, what I didn't like was, what, I have to worry about income, revenue, being able to pay bills. But I love to sit down and edit a good episode in a way that will provide people what they are looking for. Like people that may be listening to this episode, it may be you that, what, needs a wake up call like I did, to know that stop creating friction in the thing you're doing. Yeah, problems never disappear. We just get better problems. That's it. You get a car. Now you are going to deal with the problems of having a car, like thinking of, you're going to fill the car, you have to maintain it. Same thing with having a child. It's like we create resistance when we have expectations in our head of the life that we're supposed to, how life is supposed to go for us, but it never really goes that way. So I think this whole period really showed me the resistance I was creating. That, why do I keep saying it's not, even when I was talking to somebody, I'm like, it's scary. It's not scary. Sharing the things that I have learned from wellness, and it made me question that, why am I being like this? Even now, I just read, I like a few minutes ago, I read a tweet when somebody said, if you want to do content creation, there are certain things that you have to unlearn. Shame and fear. Shame of, or even the fear of being judged. She now have to learn shamelessness. Because this is, you have to be okay with being cringe. And I think with each level, like, it gets deeper. You get, just even coming to the awareness at first doesn't really solve all the whole this thing. No, it doesn't. You get deeper levels. You get to learn deeper levels of that, and I find that, like, really is, like, really an interesting process. Basically, so I'm choosing to build a business. Of course, I'm choosing all the problems that come with being a business owner. Sometimes, even being a freelancer, sometimes money will flow, but sometimes money will not flow. That's why you have to, or we have to, I have to create a system that allows me, to be sustainable throughout the phases of my business or my process as the person creating. So, like, I'm grateful for the lessons in this past few weeks. It's been very interesting facing myself, even understanding that, what, yes, like, I had a friction with a friend concerning maybe how I wanted to go about marketing, or even connecting with people for the podcast. I'm very clear about what I'm looking for. So it's like, you being able to, you're going to even come to situations where you challenge even people that love you, because you're clear on your vision. So even being somebody that is creative, you're creating something, you're going to be faced with a problem with people that don't believe in what you're creating, or people that, will have that friction with or disagree with, I need it to go this way. So for me, like, my major lesson was challenging the beliefs that I've always, like, I knew about the law of attraction, but I didn't see the ways that I was maybe creating my own resistance in my business by even complaining. I wanted this, so why the hell am I complaining? I mean, it's hard, but I think the complaints, when you keep going on and on about it, like, creates resistance. Like, I want this, I don't want this. Really. And I really like the episode I listened to this morning. It was from the School of Greatness. I enjoyed that episode because he talks about in depth of how we create resistance within ourselves when we're trying to do something. And I'm like, I'm grateful. Life always sends me what I need. I think what life keeps teaching me is to trust myself. And for me, and I'm not, I say it before, I'm not religious, so a lot of people say you should trust God. If that's what you believe in, it's trusting. Trusting is like total surrender, not trying to control. Do focus on what you can control, which is me in this moment, creating the podcast, creating packages, doing my work. Yeah, that's what I can control. I even like when I was listening to the episode, he said he took his wife, him and his wife, 5 years to build the business. And I'm grateful that I even heard that they were the only employees in the business. And me, I've been dreading, I've just been looking at, I know that it can be a lot of work, but then when you really look at your time and schedules, you're having a lot of distractions. Yeah, you are not being, I'm not, now I'm talking to myself, I'm not being very intentional about the things I want to do. So I'm having a lot of, I'm not planning well. Yeah, so being able to reflect that, I know that, because someone was telling me I need an assistant, I'm like, no, I don't need one, because I understand that there are some things I need to handle for myself. I'm the main person creating this. Yeah, and I understand my responsibility and things I need to do. People that would be a part of your journey will come, but I think it's us recognizing that at first we have to be responsible for the things that we need to do first. And everybody, like people you need for this journey, will come. I keep meeting awesome people since I started, and I notice how confident I am now when I'm talking about things I'm doing. They ask, I say, oh, I have a podcast, I talk about wellness. I tell them about what the podcast is about. Some people would not buy into the idea as expected. But there are people that are like, oh, really? I want to know. I want to be on your podcast, things like that. So it's a journey. And I think we're all walking our own path. But I think the main thing for this episode is reminding people we need to check our beliefs, yeah? And with each thing I do, I realize how I'm trying to make this podcast better, which is showing how much I value giving or sharing everything I've learned on this journey. So, friends, are there beliefs that are subconsciously lingering inside you? It might not even be, you might not be even be aware of it on the surface. Sometimes it takes writing, and one day you're going to write out, I'm doing this because I think or I believe. I'm very open to challenging my beliefs. So I'm encouraging you, if you're listening to this and you're also on your journey to creating something that your soul is yearning for, you're passionate about, you're obsessed with. Yeah, as somebody asked me why wellness. I'm like, why not wellness? Why not? And I wasn't trying to be cheeky. I explained, I'm like, why not wellness? Because wellness has a connection to everything we are as a person. When you function well in everything you're doing. Like when your health is functioning well, you're showing up to your business 100%, your relationship, your friends, everything you love. But that's why they tell you that when you don't have health, you see how expensive, you see how like money is worth nothing. Yeah, but having your health intact, mentally, physically, emotionally, you show up in the things you're doing in the ways that are authentic to you. So I'll say maybe it's time for us to reflect on the things we're believing. I am planning for next year because I look forward to doing a lot, and we need to check our beliefs. Is there a way we are creating resistance in the things that we want to do? Maybe a particular money you like to earn per month, and that's what I also learned in psychology of selling. You have to believe it. You have to believe you can make. And yeah, I think the episode he was talking about, how would you make the podcast episode I listened to today, the school of greatness, how can somebody believe they can do something they haven't done before? And in case example, there are people out there that have achieved what you haven't. Sometimes it's even listening to their own story. You don't even have to meet them. You're tapping into their energy of seeing that it's possible. And I'll even say, if you look back to, maybe look back and see the things that you've done in your life that you felt like you couldn't. Yeah, I have a lot that I can't imagine that I'm here. Like, what the hell? I can't imagine that I'm here. Like, I'm somebody that has a healthy relationship with herself. I didn't imagine that before. I didn't even imagine how that was a thing or that was possible. So let's check our beliefs. Yeah. I'll stop here in this episode, but that doesn't mean we are finished with this conversation. We are not done. There's more to come, and I'm really looking forward to having that great dinner with you. I already met some awesome people. This last week, I've been going out. I will be having great conversation. So at least one thing I can guarantee you is good food, yeah. But then we're going to talk. We're going to have a good time, and I hope that we're all able to come together to close of this year, yeah, in better energy. This year has been challenging, but to me, where I am right now, I'm grateful for the challenges that came. It made me think about how I'm living my life. It made me ask questions like, is this authentic to who I am, even with my relationship and friendships with people? Anyway, thank you for listening. Yes, I still apologize for whatever bad audio quality that I'm taking out all the old episodes we recorded last year to this year, and you'll be getting fresh episodes, more talking about a lot of personal adulting stuff, personal finance. I'm looking to connect with more people so we can teach things that people don't. There are a lot of things that we don't know, that we're not taught in school, and I'm very open to connecting with people that know these things and can share their journey with us. So I'm grateful to you for staying to the end of this episode. Don't forget to share with people, with your community. And if you listen to this episode and you live in Accra, please come to the dinner. I want to connect with you. I want us to talk about wellness, how well we've done this year, things we learned, all of that. Yeah. So follow our Time with Rella. We'll be posting more details on Time with Rella Instagram, Twitter for now, and website timefella.com. We're posting more information about this picnic that's coming up. Not picnic, about the dinner coming up. I'm used to saying picnics thing. So can't wait to have dinner with you, my friends. See you in the next episode. And I hope you listened to the last two episodes. I think those are my favorites. One with Ife. Thank you to Ife. She showed up. I really loved that conversation with her. And Ivy. I love talking about love with Ivy. And I'm hoping to do more with Ivy. I think the Ivy episode, yeah, the audio wasn't the best, but I'm sure looking forward, we're going to have better audio quality. So I'm grateful for you. And we also have something, end of the year, the clutter and share. So it's an exercise that I actually started last year, but I want to make it known now. It's a practice like, okay, look through your closet, your surrounding, the things that you know you don't really want. Yeah, let it go. So you don't have to send it to us directly, yeah, but my idea is, you see the way they say network across, yeah, share across, let me put it that way, because we have this idea that, okay, because people have certain things that they might not be struggling. Accra is expensive, Lagos, like, things are expensive now. There may be somebody around you that needs maybe a new work clothes for them for work next year for an interview. Things are changing. There are people in school that want to show up nicer. So talk to students, talk to people around you. They don't want something, or you have a shirt you want to give, yeah. So, or books too. Our phones, old phones. So if you have that to give to people, please give, please share, network or share across. Yeah. Have a beautiful day if you're listening to this. Thank you for listening to the Time with Rella podcast. See you in the next episode. Bye.